Alright guys, we're going to be installing fifth wheel rails on a 2017 2500 HD diesel 6.6, and these rails are 16/411. They're bolt-in rails, don't have to do any drilling or welding or any of the sort. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. Here's the side rails, just bolt into the existing holes that are in the frame. And we'll go ahead and get started. This is the box the rails came in. Here's all the bolts and nuts and spacers you'll need, including the rail. I also have a little bit more over here. And here's your instructions. Not too detailed, but I mean, at least it tells you where exactly the bolts go. So the ones that are going to go into the frame rail are going to be these short fat ones, which are the 5/8 11 by 1 3/4, and you use these skinny bolt stops that go inside the frame rail. I'm gonna go ahead and show you where they go. There's gonna be 4 of them. So I threaded one in here already. So it comes with this nice little wire right here that bolt threads onto the bolt. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna put the bolt inside that bolt stop washer, and you're gonna go through the back side of it. See if we can get some good camera position. So in the very back, right over here, this hole right here is big enough to take the bolt and the washer at the same time if you just angle it. And what I did is I put that wire that they supplied that threads onto the bolt through the front hole, and I'll show you. So it's about right here on the frame rail, this hole. So what I did is I stuck the wire all the way through here, and I kind of reached underneath with my hand, which I was able to do, and I have short arms. And I put my fingers through the hole, and I felt this wire as I was feeding it through this way, and I was able to pull the wire out a little bit through the backside, put the washer onto the bolt, and then I went ahead and screwed it onto this wire right here, and I was able to actually pull it through and guide it all the way up into the hole, and that's how I'm holding it now. So once you get it through here, you're gonna hold it right here and unscrew it off. It's kind of a pain to unscrew. Kind of like has a little bit of resistance on it. So I'll just go ahead and show you how to do that step here in just a minute. I went ahead and put the bracket in. I just fed it through the bolt hole, and just so it could hold it up. And I also put this bolt right here to actually hold the bracket in there. You already have a threaded bolt on this bottom side welded to the back of the frame. So all you're gonna do is put the washer and then the lock washer on top of the bolt, and this will hold all the frame in place. We'll do it to this other side. I already cleaned out the threads before putting the bolts in. Okay, let's go ahead and unthread this bolt from the wire holder. That's what I call it. It's probably not the real technical term, but see how it just pulls right up in there? So you gotta hold it with your fingers and kind of, it's kind of hard to twist, but you'll get it. It's kind of a pain. You don't want to lose the bolt back there. Alright, got it off. Get this nut, has that built-in flat washer side. It's a lock nut too, because all those little ribs right there. And just thread it onto the bolt. Make sure you hold the bolt with your finger from behind. Once you have it on there, there you go. And the way that washer is shaped, it's going to hit the top of the frame rail, so you don't have to hold it from the back side. Makes it quite a bit easier to put it on instead of trying to get a wrench or a socket in the back. And there that is right there. Now we're gonna go ahead and thread in this other bolt. So this is what this looks like. It's quite long too. It's probably, I don't know, 20 inches long, so you have plenty to thread it from the back side. So you're gonna stick it through here. I'm gonna kind of get inside this wheel well, stick my hand up in here, and I can already feel the hole. So I'm gonna guide my wire through there, and I got it with my finger, and there it is. See, I have plenty of wire. I could even bring it up over here. See if you guys can see that. I hope you can. So now go get the bolt. Here it is right here. And here's your bolt once again. Thread it through there. See what I'm saying? Okay. Now I'm gonna take you guys with me. We're gonna go underneath the truck here in a minute. Let me just bolt it onto this, or screw it on. There we go. So you only need about 3 or 4 threads to be threaded onto it. It holds on really tight. Alright, so I'm gonna take you guys with me underneath the truck so you can kind of see. So you're just gonna feed it over here. See if I get a better angle. So I'm in through the hole. So you see if it goes in sideways, feed it through and just let it drop in there. It's alright, you got it tied onto the wire so it's not gonna go anywhere. So you're gonna use that bolt hole, or that hole, to route both of those bolts because it's the only one that's big enough. And it's pretty easy. It's right next to the gas tank, right underneath the bump stop for the rear suspension. As you can see, the wire's through right here. And just kind of line it up, get it through the hole. Got to turn it a little bit because it's a little off on the inside. There we go. There, now it's on there. I'm not liking how big this washer is. It seems like it's too big and it's not gonna allow the nut to sit nice and flush on the bracket. So I'm gonna take this bolt off and figure out a way around that. Maybe just cut a little bit off the washer right there. Oops. So I'm gonna see what I could do about that, and I'll go ahead and be right back. I went ahead and just cut the washer a little bit right here. Just a small amount, maybe about 1/8 of an inch off of it. Just enough room to get the nut right here to sit flat against the bracket. I tried adjusting it up and down a little bit to see if it gave me a little more clearance, but it didn't, like it did on this one. So no big deal. It's not gonna hurt the strength of it or anything like that. It has plenty of material to bite onto. So we have this side done. I gotta get the torque specs and see what it needs me to torque it down to. But we're gonna go ahead and start another side, and I'll give you a detailed video on what to do on the other side. I went ahead and got the rail in there. It's pretty easy and self-explanatory. All I did was just angle it in and kind of put it up there. And then I picked up each side and put the bolts in. That side looks like I might have to trim that washer once again there. This side, no. I think it's just the way it sits and the angle is the reason why you gotta do it. But for now, I'm gonna go and tighten up one side at least, and then I guess I gotta cut the washer on that other side just a little bit. So what I'm doing is lining up with the top holes right here and holding it, making sure it's directly in the middle, and then I'm tightening up the bolts. At least it holds it in place pretty good. Then I'll take this one off. I'm gonna cut just a little bit off right here, just so I have enough room for the nut to sit flush. I'll be back. As you can see right here, I just made a nice little flat cut right there. Go ahead and install it. It's a little bit of tension putting the bolt in because it still has some of that, I guess, a coating on the threads from when they coated the frame from rust protectant. So what I did is just hold this washer at an angle right there, and I'm gonna go and tighten it up. And that's it. So now we're gonna go ahead and get the wire and run it through the back side of the frame. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna feed this just like I did in the other side through the hole, and then reach around the back. And the hole's in the same spot right above this right here, the bump stop. It's about right here. So I just feed it until I grab it with my finger through the hole in the back, and there it is. Bolt with my bolt stop washer screwed on. And pull it through. So after doing the other side, it's pretty easy. I just go ahead and guide it through with my hand, pull it in, kind of wiggle it in there, and there you go. Kind of just take off this. And there that is. Get your nut right here. Thread it on. And there it is. As you can see, just enough clearance. Get a little closer shot for it to sit nice and flat right there. So I'm pretty confident that's going to be nice and strong and torqued down right. Now we're going to do this other one. Same way. Put it through the bolt hole and kind of crawl in here. Get your hand from the back side. Feed it through. And I already feel it. And there it is from the back. Go ahead and screw it onto the wire. That's about it. Just stick it through the hole. There it is. Pull it on through. And it's in. Not too bad. Go ahead and thread the nut on there. Screw it down. Man, this one has just enough room. They touch each other, but just enough room to clear it. Tighten it down. I'm not tightening them very tight. Just enough to hold the brackets in place. And so now we're gonna go ahead and step up to the top of the bed, and we're gonna put the rails in it and measure them out and drill the holes and bolt them to this along with all the hardware. So we're moving on to the rails. So according to the directions, it says to go ahead and measure from the edge of the bed, right at the lip right here, all the way over to this part of the rail. And it's supposed to be 47.5 inches, which is mine's exactly at 47.5. And then what I did over here is on the left side right here, I did the same thing, 47.5 inches all the way to the rail on this side. I measured from the wheel well to here on both sides and made sure it was even. I ended up being at 4 inches on each side, and it centered the whole rail in the truck bed. My bed is a short bed, so that's what the measurements were that they're calling for. If it is a long bed, the directions tell you what the measurements are for that. Long bed was 52.375 for the measurement on that front rail. And again, those measurements are for that front rail right there, closest to the cab. And then what I did is I just left it in place, got a little 1/8" drill bit, and I centered it right here for the bolt hole. And I did it for this side and this side. And then I went underneath the bed and made sure it was centered on the brackets for the frame rails. And it ended up being perfectly square. And then once you get those all marked up, you're gonna go ahead and put the rail in place. And I got that bolt hole right there. So put the bolt through. Now you have this washer that it comes with. You see how it's angled on each side? Right here. That angled part goes facing downward between the bed rail right here. And all you do is just slide it right into place. And you do that to all 4 of those bolts. And on this front one right here, this front rail, you're gonna make sure you're gonna use these outer bolts on this one. And so that's how you get the first rail on, starting from by the cab. And to put the second rail on, you're gonna get your fifth wheel hitch and go ahead and install it onto this rail. And you're gonna put that one in place and then put your 5th wheel hitch down in there. And then that's gonna mark the holes for you.